Hey, what is up guys? Welcome to my channel, The Focused Millennial, your one-stop shop for high-quality leadership and entrepreneurship content that is both fresh and relevant. So in this video, we're discussing the things that you should be focusing on in the early stages of your startup idea. Now, in the previous video, I spoke about the things that you don't want to be focusing on in the early days. The link to that video is in the description to this one, so go check that out. All right, cool? Let's get it. Okay, so point number one, you're going to want to make your users your first collaborators. Right? Now, to ensure that you're building the right solution, it's very important that you make your potential users part and parcel of your solution. Now, you may think that you're working on the right solution, but the more you engage with them, the more you're going to realize that the problem might not be exactly what you anticipated it to be. So I always advise people to make sure that your potential users are one with your solution, the ones that actually inform the decisions that you make when you're building your solution. Trust me, it's much better to provide the right solution with average execution than the wrong one perfectly executed. So a practical way of making your potential users part and parcel of your solution is to form what they call a founder circle. So essentially what a founder circle is when the founder goes and recruits about 5 people who are part of their user group or potential users, and he makes these people a part of his core team. So it's almost as though he considers them at the same importance of a founder. And these are essentially people who you're going to bounce off every single design decision, every step of the way, every color, every screen design. You bounce it off these people and make sure that it's clearly understandable to them, because they represent the large majority of people who are going to actually use your platform. So this is a great way for you to ensure that you have their insights from the very beginning and that it's baked right into your solution. That is a value-adding activity. So point number 2, you're going to want to validate your idea. So what does that mean? Well, simply put, to validate in this context means to prove an assumption to be true. So all ideas are based on some key assumption, and some of them even have more than one assumption. For instance, Uber was based on the assumption that people would be perfectly comfortable riding on the passenger seat of complete strangers' cars, right? And for my business, Jonga, where we provide an affordable community-based home alarm system, our main assumption or key assumption was that people are concerned about their neighbors' well-being. And as long as they're notified when their neighbor's in trouble, they'll actually want to assist in some way or form. So similarly, your startup idea probably has some key assumption that may or may not be as far-fetched as Uber or Jonga's key assumption, but it is an assumption nonetheless, and it needs to be validated. Because the more you validate assumptions, the more you reduce the risk that your idea is actually going to work out in the real world. So the best way for you to validate your idea is by putting together a very simplistic version of your solution. They call this your MVP, or your minimum viable product. But you can think of this as a prototype. So a prototype is, like I said, very simplistic. You want it to be inexpensive and to be very fast to be able to implement. Really, you don't want to be spending a lot of time on this. And this is your way of actually, putting something out there and giving it to users, putting it in their hands, and allowing them to play with something and actually give you feedback. Right? So there are various ways that you can actually prototype your idea, and I'm going to dedicate an entire video to this. But the best way is to perhaps try and look out for what are the existing and similar platforms that I can actually use to test what I want to do. For instance, let's say you had the fantastic idea of building a platform that connects high school students with university students for the purposes of mentorship, shared resources and learnings and all of those things. As opposed to, going out there and finding a developer and just getting them to start building this thing before you've actually validated your idea, the best way to do it is to find an existing platform. Maybe WhatsApp can be very simplistic, and try and put high school students and university students on the same group, and trying to see if you actually observe the kind of interactions that you are hoping that your platform might give you. Obviously, it'll be more limited because WhatsApp isn't dedicated for that. But when you do that, that's a nice, quick, and cheap way for you to test, the underlying assumption behind your idea. And once that's actually working, then you can actually now go and say, hey, I've monitored this interaction and I feel as though a dedicated platform would be just right to solve this. Once again, I'll speak about prototypes in more detail. Cool, and this brings us to the third and final point, which is validating your business model. So if validating your idea is proving the assumption that people will actually use your idea, then validating your business model is proving the assumption that people will actually pay for it. So this is the highest form of validation that you can get, because it actually demonstrates that your idea is able to pull in customers and generate revenues, which is the very definition of a business. Up until you get your first customers, you're still kind of in the idea phase. But now, if you can validate this, then you're in a very good position to attract potential funders and potential collaborators. So once you've actually validated the idea, and then you validate the business model, as an entrepreneur, you are ready to go. So in summary, a good business is a business in which the risk has been drastically reduced because a lot of the underlying assumptions, both on an idea level and on a business model level, have been validated. Now, your job as the entrepreneur is to ensure that, first of all, you are working on the right concept, and you do that by baking in the insights of your potential user from the very beginning. And then once you're sure that that concept is actually a solution to the problem they're experiencing, you're going to want to validate those key assumptions. This is how you are actually able to prove to someone and demonstrate that this product has actually gotten the approval of your potential users. And then once you've actually done that, you're going to want to try and sell it to them. And then you're going to keep track of exactly how people are interacting with it, and how regularly are they paying, what are the best ways that they want to pay, how frequently, all of those things. And if you can demonstrate all of those things, then you are ready for the fundraising discussion. So that is how you build value in your business. You validate your key assumptions. So if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up icon. And if you want to know when I release more video and more content, please subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so that you receive these notifications. And do me a favor, hey, if you know someone who is a game changer, an entrepreneur, a young professional who's passionate about entrepreneurship, go on and invite them to come to this channel, to subscribe and also hit the bell icon. And let's spread this information and share the learnings that are actually based on experiences. All right, cool. Peace.